Alright guys, it's banner time. So again, we have a new rerun event going on as of right now. The inverted Orthant banner, which consists of U-37, Wasp, uh, N³rberg, I probably butchered that, Prince Heinrich, and Peter Strasser. And these are the ships as of right now on this banner. So I want to reiterate before we start this video that this is a rerun event. And we have two new events coming up by the end of the year, the collab and the lesser known or the more known gacha event at the end of the year. So if you guys are low on cubes right now, skip this banner. To you guys right now. If you guys still want to pull though, let's go ahead and talk about the ships and which one in general or them in general, and see if they're worth pulling or not. So it's a rerun event. I'm not gonna talk too much about them. There's plenty of discussions about them already. So go ahead and just lightly touch on each and every one of these ships and talk about them like briefly and how good they are or how bad they are, stuff like that. So starting with the left to right, you got U-37. So U-37 here is a Wolfpack submarine. So if you guys are lacking submarines there, then this is a very good option to bring into your submarine fleet. Personally, I don't use her. I still use like the Generation 1 submarines. They're not as good as like say U-73 or not 73, U-96 and stuff, but it works for me, so I don't really care too much. So if you guys are missing another Wolfpack submarine for KMS, whether it's 81, 47, or 96, then having U-37 there is actually a decent slot. So if you need submarine power, definitely is pretty good to farm for. Not only that, you don't have to get her from the gacha. You can just farm for her because she is the shop. She is a shop purchase or a D3 or B3 drop as well too. So much easier to obtain by far. Wasp. So Wasp here doesn't really do much. If I recall correctly, she gives like +1 permanent aviation. So if you guys want that, that's pretty nice to have. Overall though, her kit isn't like the most spectacular. She is a carrier or light carrier that does like whatever damage. But the big takeaway about her is that again, she gives that +1 aviation. I believe I can find it real quick somewhere in here. That's Wasp. Yeah, that's +1 reload. Yeah, +1 reload. Oh, for light carriers. Oh, never mind. It's even worse. It's worse than I thought. Okay. Yeah, no, not that great. N³rberg. So N³rberg, actually the light cruiser. Personally, don't see much interesting about her either. She's also another elite ship, I believe. So again, nothing like super spectacular about her. I never lowered mine to 120. I may in the future. I don't think she gives anything great for stats for promo 120 stats. So I would just skip on it overall. Now the SSR's Prince Heinrich here. She's just a beefy DPS. If I recall correctly, she wasn't she wasn't bad back then when we needed like tanky DPS. Her and I believe Talon was her name from the Russian event for tanky DPS back in the day. This is when OS first came out, and having tanky DPS was pretty important for most of the clearings you do, because back then the cap was 120, so you kind of want to have tanks in your setup. And there weren't many large crews back then. It was basically just Azuma. So having Prince Heinrich is definitely a solid option if you want tanky DPS. Again, she isn't the best DPS, nor is she the best tank. She's just a little bit of both. But overall, though, if you do like this ship, then go ahead and pull for her. Otherwise, though, there are much better options nowadays for tanky DPS. You can skip on her altogether. Peter Strasser, one of the few SSR carriers for KMS. Personally, I think she has a great skin. I already ranked mine as well, too, and got the skin, so I like this ship a lot. Now, her kit, though, has extra damage with torpedo bomber, so that's pretty cool. Extra damage is always nice to have. She also has a unique debuff. Now, I believe what happens with this one is that it's like a climbing debuff, so it's like it goes from slow, then stop after 3 seconds. So it's not like a full-on slow, nor is it a full-on freeze. It just decreases the speed of all enemies by 8% once every second 10% chance to. Oh, never mind. I know how. Yeah, so it works like this, but is an RNG chance. So this right here is actually pretty annoying. If I recall correctly, a lot of people said that this kid right here was pretty annoying to work with because it's RNG when she procs this. So sometimes you may want the enemy ship to move. Sometimes you may not want them to move. And because of how inconsistent this is, it's not like the best setup for bossing because it's just once every second, 10% chance to just stop the enemies for like up to or progressing 3 seconds. So this skill right here is inconsistent. If you want something more consistent, don't use her. Like use AVP or something. But this right here though is probably the reason why like a lot of people don't like her is because that freeze or whatever can screw you over on like battle on like combat, and it's just a pain to work with. But for mob setups though, it's fine because we don't really care about mob speed, just bossing for the most part. And then last skill here, Iron Blood Pinions. So this right here basically gives her more aviation the more KMS ships there are. And if there are 4, I believe, yeah, 4, it reduces your KMS, CVs, and CVL's reload for the first 3 airstrikes by 10%. So that's not that bad. It definitely makes for a much easier work when it comes to content when you have to airstrike a lot. Like for example, the past meta fight, Repulse meta. Some people use Peter Strasser and AVP, I believe, for that fight because of the 10% reload makes it so you can get 4 airstrikes in before she goes away or whatever. So this is actually not a bad skill. It's very niche though, but it's definitely not a bad skill. Nowadays, a lot of people want to play around Helena. Well, it's not a lot of people. Sorry, I apologize there. Some people want to play around Helena. So by having this skill right here, you can use you can use a lot of the slower plays in the game to get maximum damage out. So if you want to use like the AP rockets, the N³rnberg, and then maybe reuse days or whatever, you can't use them, even though they're very slow loadout. The 10% reload makes it so you have much more room to play around with to get into those Helena Helena timings. The skill right here is actually not that bad. And Peter Strasser herself is not bad at all, especially if you play KMS only. She's a very good carrier there. Very good carrier. So overall, this banner, nothing spectacular. Again, I want to reiterate that we do have 2 more events coming up by the end of the year. The collab for Atelier Ryza and the upcoming UR gacha event in December. So if you guys really don't want to pull for this banner and you guys are thinking about it or whatever, skip it. If you guys are low on cubes, skip it. If you guys want for collection, if you guys have a lot of cubes, go ahead and pull for it. It's up to you. Again, we do have some of these shipbuilding support tickets, so maximize these. You get like, I think like 15 or something. I'm not sure how many you get. There are some in the shop right here. There are some in the dailies as well, or not dailies, the events or whatever. There's also some from the milestones, I think. Yeah, these things right here. These also give you tickets, so maximize these guys. Try to get something nice from them, and just try to save your cubes because we do have 2 new events coming up at the end of the year. So good luck to everyone pulling on the banner. If you are pulling on the banner, try not to spend too much cubes. Have fun with the events. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.